Hello everyone. This is Lab Activity 3 for CHEM 100 at California State University, Chico. Let's look at some of the reagents we'll be using today. I'm going to need my trusty safety glasses. So let's look in our kit. First one on the list here is 6 molar hydrochloric acid. That M stands for molar, and that tells you how concentrated the acid is. So 6 molar is pretty concentrated. We're going to want to be careful with that. And it gives us a caution warning as well. So here we are, 6 molar hydrochloric acid. Next thing on the list is 1 molar NaOH, or sodium hydroxide. And here it is. Right, next on the list we have silver nitrate. This can be toxic. Here we are. It's in a brown bottle to keep light away from it. And this will stain your clothes forever. All right, you want to be really careful to not get this on your clothes or your skin. All right, next thing is 1 molar sodium hydrogen carbonate. A common name for it is sodium bicarbonate. Either one is fine. And here is that right here. Another word for this chemical is baking soda. Now, and finally, we have some zinc foil. Just cut into little squares there. And we have some copper foil put into little squares there. Right. Now, what are we going to do our reactions in? We've got this little guy called a microtiter plate. It has 24 wells in it, and we are going to mix the chemicals in every combination possible. Now, taking into account the fact that we can't really mix these solids together too well, we can only mix solids with liquids and liquids with liquids. So going down here, we're going to put our liquid reagents. Reagent is just another word for reactant or chemical. Now let's turn the page and find a way to keep track of all of this. Another way to organize the information is in a list. Here I've listed every possible combination of reagents. I have left space on the left, on the other side of the double red line, and we're going to write our observations there when we observe the reaction. And then the space on the right is where we can predict products of the reaction if we need to. So if you'd like to organize your information this way, go ahead and pause the video and make this list out. For our first reaction, we have sodium hydroxide, NaOH, and silver nitrate, AgNO3. Here we'll mix silver nitrate, AgNO3, with HCl, hydrochloric acid. Right, note that this is clear and colorless. We weren't able to see before from the brown bottle. Also note that this hydrochloric acid is also clear and colorless. All right, something happened there. We had a color change and it got cloudy. So let's record that. Now let's look at silver nitrate and sodium bicarbonate. Now let's do sodium hydroxide, NaOH, and hydrochloric acid, HCl. Let's note that both of these solutions are clear and colorless. Now it looks like nothing happened, but I can actually feel some heat coming off of that. And if you were in the lab and doing this reaction in a container that you were holding, you would feel that container warming up. So let's just write heat for our observation on NaOH and HCl. Now let's look at sodium hydroxide, NaOH, and sodium bicarbonate, NaHCO3. Let's notice that these are both clear and colorless before we start. Doesn't look like anything's happening. Let's check for change in temperature. No change in temperature. I think it's safe to say that nothing is happening here. Let's look at hydrochloric acid and sodium bicarbonate. There's our HCl. All right, lots of bubbles. Just for fun, try mixing vinegar and baking soda at home and you'll get a similar reaction. So here we go. Let's just record bubbles. Let's look at silver nitrate and zinc. I already have a piece of zinc foil sitting in my watch glass. It's looking like around the edges it's getting darker. The zinc foil is changing color. Let me try putting a little more silver nitrate on top of the zinc foil. Oh, it's just rolling off. All right, you see what's happening when I'm trying to drop it on the zinc foil? It's turning black. There we go, and looks like some bits are coming off of it. So for our observation, let's write down that zinc changed color. Now we have the copper foil and the silver nitrate. Well, this is quite different. It no longer looks like copper, it looks like silver. And let's write for our observations that the copper changed color. Here we have the sodium hydroxide and the zinc foil. There we go. At first glance, it doesn't look like much is going on. Maybe a little bit of discoloration, although that might just be a shadow. Let's see if we can... There we go, flip it over. There we go. Yeah, aside from just marking it up with my pencil, nothing's really happening. Now let's look at sodium hydroxide and copper foil. Right, so far not seeing too much. There we go, flip it over. Not too much happening here either. It looks like a little discoloration on the side, that's just a shadow. Now we have our hydrochloric acid, HCl, and zinc foil. Something's happening. Got some very vigorous bubbles. All right, almost done, folks. We have our HCl, our hydrochloric acid, and a piece of copper foil. If you can see that discoloration moving, it's because that's my reflection. But it doesn't look like anything's happening here. right, here is the sodium bicarbonate and the zinc foil. Okay, not much happening here. Let's flip that thing over. There we go. Not much on that side either. All right, last one, sodium bicarbonate and copper foil. Nothing happening on either side of that piece of copper foil. Right, now that the reactions are complete, let's go to the questions. This first question is just a list of the different types of observations you made. So go ahead and look over the notes that you just took for each of the reactions and list down all of the different things you could possibly see or feel. I'm not going to go over this whole worksheet for you, but let's go over number 2 real quick and I can show you how to write out a reaction. So we started out writing reactions here in our notes, and what we're going to do, these are the 2 reactants. Put an arrow. We can think of that arrow as an equal sign, and then we'll put the products of the reaction right here. So in number 2, it says you mixed HCl and AgNO3, and you formed a solid called AgCl. So let's write that out. I'm going to specify that this is aqueous. That's the phase that it's in. That means dissolved in water. All right, and the question told us that the solid is silver chloride. And we'll put S for solid there. Plus one other thing. Well, what do we have left? What do we have left? We have NO3 and we have hydrogen. So the only thing we can do is put that H and that NO3 together. And that one is aqueous. So you'll do that for 3 more reactions. It'll tell you one of the products, and you have to predict what the other product is, using the knowledge that you've gained in this class so far, as well as the hints that the worksheet gave you.